corridor means case for railway from Athenry to Claremorris is, quote, very weak, unquote. And he's waiting for the full release of a rail report, presumably this month. And the question being asked is, why is the Minister now looking for probably yet another review regarding freight? And in his statement over Christmas, he said, Eamon Ryan, he now accepts the case for the Western Rail corridor from Athenry to Claremorris is very weak based on two reports that he's received from EY Consulting and Jaspers, which is the European Investment Bank. I'm joined on the programme this morning by John Mulligan, who's part of the Western Rail Corridor campaign. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Tommy. More the Western Rail Trail.
The Western Rail Trail Greenway campaign.
Yeah, we're the pragmatists in this whole thing.
Okay. Are you disappointed?
Look, no, it's... We've been saying this for years, that every other previous report has said there's no case for rail on this, and to some extent what politicians were doing was appeasing people by saying, well, we'll get another report. And Sean Kenny, in return for support for the government in 2015, had this EY consultant report commission. It was delivered a year ago, but they didn't like the results, so they kept a lid on it until now. On top of that, that report was peer-reviewed by Jaspers, who are as you pointed out, the European Investment Bank, whose support will be needed if we're ever going to build a railway, quite honestly, and they've said no to it as well. The reality is that there's nobody going to build a railway on that line. Nobody. There's no cabinet going to pull money out.
This is Athenry to Claremorris.
Any of it, Tommy. Any of that from Athenry. Well, I mean, Claremorris to Collooney is certainly that's not even being looked at anymore.
After all the reports, after all the cajoling and the lobbying.
Yeah, but you see, there was no case ever made for it.
I know.
It was all. Wouldn't it be nice to have it?
Yeah. By the way,
of course, it'd be lovely to have it.
Yeah, it would. I just want to explain to listeners. I mean, you're not against opening up rail corridors. What you want to do is open up greenways along the railway lines.
What I want to do is use the asset. The asset is the strip of land. There's no railway there. What's there is only scrap. The CIE have told us that if they're ever to build a railway, everything that's there has to come up anyway. But what we're concerned about is that there's an asset there, a long strip of land from Collooney to Athenry, and it's been wasted. It's been taken over by squatters in places. It will be lost, as these railway lines always are lost to state ownership. If you look at the ones up through Donegal, most of them are gone. But we're saying keep it open for the next 20, 30 years with the greenway on it, and then at that point, keep checking and keep testing the figures to see whether a railway might be possible, and if it is, build it.
And is there any sections of that track area that is developed as a part of a greenway?
Well, the Sligo section is in development.
Right.
And that will be built it'll go to planning in this year, and it'll be built next year. That's the plan.
And that will be from where to where?
That will be from Bellaghy to Collooney.
Right, so people would be able to cycle or walk
from Bellaghy to Collooney.
From Bellaghy to Collooney.
As well as that, what's also in plan is Collooney to Enniskillen.
That sounds like a longer project.
It is, and it's an old railway line, but a lot of it has slipped out of public ownership, so there are a lot of buyback issues there.
Right. Your call is for Mayo for this a timely opportunity to build this idea of a Western Rail Trail Greenway into the Mayo County Plan.
Yeah, look, the Dublin-Galway Greenway is getting built in a kind of a stop-start manner. It wasn't handled all that well in the Galway section. But it will happen in the next 2 years. So Athenry, Collooney would connect all of the towns that need help to that national infrastructure. What appears to be happening in Mayo is that there's been an arbitrary decision made sometime by Mayo County Council or by somebody within the council or group that West Mayo will get the investment and East Mayo gets the odd little token thing thrown at it. And that appears to be the case still. I mean, it's inexplicable really why Mayo County Council won't take the money that's going there from, say, north of Claremorris, which is not the subject of any review or any report. The only future for that is briars and dereliction, and yet there's money there in the department and they won't look for it. Now that's against the background of the last county plan in 2014. There were 300 submissions asking for a greenway on it. back earlier than that, in 2011, the Swinford Vision for the Future looked for, there were 1,000 people in Swinford in a population of 1,400 signed up to put a greenway on the old line. And yet all of those things were binned. The 300 submissions for the greenway were not even debated in the chamber. And yet a proposal for part use design at Kilshimoff for the Vila Rail project, there wasn't even a submission to the plan, was given the funding, which is strange, you know. I was a member of the delegation that met with Eamon Ryan twice in November, and he made it very clear that he saw a real opportunity to have a greenway from Claremorris to Charlestown. And he said if the latest report finds no case for a freight line from Athenry to Claremorris, he'd like to power on ahead south to Claremorris, exact words.
But he's changed his approach, has he?
No, he hasn't.
No.
You see, it's in the way that now Eamon Ryan is a terribly nice man, and he likes to please everybody, but so that he tries to let people down gently. So what he said is that there's a lot of talk that he's looking for another report on rail in Mayo. He's not. He's looking for a report in a 32 county context for all the railway lines in the state.
Which is a fair enough
thing to do. That's a good policy making piece of work. And that has been taken, and he's I suppose allowed it to be taken as, look, we might look again at Athenry to Claremorris for a freight line in case we want to bring waste from Foynes up to Ballina to Burnet or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But like the reality is that they've looked at this before. There was another report, the WDC one, back about 5 years back, that found no case for a second freight line into Mayo.
I remember that. Okay, well anyway, the fight goes on, John.
It does, but look, what I would say to people, Tommy, and thanks for giving us time on your show, the new draft county plan was published on December 23rd. It's open for public submissions. Look, we'd ask people in East Mayo in particular, who are being left behind in this, to make submissions to the county plan. And we'd also ask, the TDs are on there. Alan Dillon is sitting on the fence on this. Derek Cleary was in the chamber saying that there was 1,000 freight, in the Dáil saying there was 1,000 freight trains a year leaving Mayo. And in fact, there's not. There's 370, you know. About little more than one a day. And it's not a case for a second railway line into Ballina.
All right. That'll leave it there. John, thanks very much for joining us today, and Happy New Year to you and all.